When you think about Christmas, what do you think about?
Like lights on houses and Christmas presents and Christmas trees.
Nativity scenes.
I love to make things for Christmas, baked things and homemade decorations.
Roast turkey, sweet potatoes. Hawaiians are very food-oriented.
Okay.
I think of the birth of Jesus and family being together.
It's really fun to go do Christmas caroling and stuff like that.
You know what my most unfavorite Christmas carol is?
What?
It's Feliz Navidad.
I don't know that one.
I hate it. Sing it.
No. I don't know it.
I've been asked to share some memories, and actually that day really is a pretty important one in my life. I remember waking up in the morning and looking down from my bed, and there'd be a little basket there, and there'd be some eggs in it, and real colorful, and some chocolate and candy, and of course, we had dyed the eggs the night before.
This is about Christmas.
It's about Easter.
No,
it's about Easter.
Christmas.
I'm sorry.
Christmas at our house is crazy. We usually always have visitors from out of town, and the kids wake us up at a horrible hour in the morning, and we try to be Christ-like and tell them to wait a few minutes.
I get really excited. We usually wake up at like 2 in the morning and wait and like till 5, and then we go and wake up our mom.
We have to start the coffee for them. We wake up really early, and we go down and we look under the Christmas tree, and we see all these presents, and we go wake up our parents.
Well, we usually wake up at like 9 o'clock because, well, we used to wake up at like 2 o'clock in the morning, but now we only wake up at 9. But and then we just like open our presents, and we have a big breakfast, and like we read like verses from the Bible.
And parents like getting up at 2 in the morning, right?
No. But if it happens again, we're not opening any because they don't like waking up
that early.
But we come down and we open gifts one by one.
Mom, this is what I want. A stereo and 3 CDs.
Beanie Baby. I'd like a bike.
Harrison, what do you want for Christmas?
I don't know.
A puppy? A puppy.
I want a puppy.
I want a puppy too. I want a baby brother.
Yes, there's a lot to do. And we're not going to do it this year. Well, we're going to go to Cabo. We're taking our adult children and we're going on a vacation. And we're not exchanging gifts. And our gifts are going to be love to each other and laughing and having fun and eating, and that's what we're going to do. Yeah. I think God is love, and I think that's what we're going to do. So we're out of here. December 14th, we're gone.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
The day started, it was like any normal day. You know, you get home from work. I tried to get home a little early because I knew I wanted to. The wind was blowing, and I'd cleaned the roof off a couple months earlier, and I wanted to seal it, and so I had to blow it off one more time to get the sealer on it. And I was being kind of careless. I have cleats and ropes and stuff, and I was fighting the 2-hour window before it got dark. And I just went up with tennis shoes. It was a dry roof, and it felt pretty safe. And all I can remember is I was spraying alongside my right, thinking I was, getting that, and I'm thinking, is that a mistake? I kind of sprayed me a window, to walk out of. And when I backed up, I hit a wet shingle. And all I remember is hitting the gutter, trying to catch myself with my feet. I remember feeling the gutter with my feet, but that's the last thing I remember.
All of a sudden, Lindsay came running from the kitchen and said that her dad was dying. And I didn't know what she had been talking about. She was screaming, saying, he's dying, he's dying. And immediately the mom and I ran to the back door, and we saw Jim laying on the cement and blood, just a head full of blood.
Next thing I remember is laying kind of face down on the cement.
My immediate reaction was just to call 911.
It seemed like it happened so fast. All of a sudden the medics were there, neighbors were there.
They put him on a stretcher. They put a brace on his head and his neck and his legs.
They put me on the stretcher and kind of stabilized me, and then took me down to Alcott, I think it was, elementary, and brought in a helicopter.
The head medic came and wanted to meet with me and discuss that they had made a decision that it looked like he probably had some brain trauma, and they would need to transport him by a helicopter to Harborview. At that point, then I knew that this was pretty serious. My biggest fear was that he could be paralyzed. I know that serious accidents like that are usually spinal or head injury, and when they said that he could probably be temporarily brain damaged, that I knew that they wanted to look into other things further before making decision themselves what it could be.
I knew I wasn't paralyzed, which was a big thanks. I guess I was thankful to be alive.
I guess I was just lost for words. It just, when things happen like that, I think you're just going shock, you know, and I think you go through that denial of how can this be happening to me.
The leg has gone through 3 surgeries. I think it's 4 surgeries. The first 3 was where I thought I was heading home, and then they had to actually add a lot of muscle tissue under the skin to provide blood flow to prevent infection.
Just medically, he just has so many needs, and we don't know what's going to happen down the road. And we basically live from doctor appointment, weekly to doctor appointment, to what the doctors have say and how we're going to be able to fight this infection in his leg.
I think we were just overwhelmed with the response, you know, with friends and just neighbors and acquaintances. They just offered their services, you know, just say, they'd stop by, you know. One day we had 3 guys here, what can we do? And you know, Linda just said, oh yeah, I got some things. And it was great, you know, I mean, they just wanted to help.
It's impacted us greatly, just people who have given up their time, sacrificed their time.
You know, we've had people come and just take over all the chores that I normally would do.
I think when people give to other people, they receive a bond back that they would never receive without going through a crisis with someone else.
I mean, I really think that this was the first time in our lives where it's been such to a great extent. You know, I think people have really reached out this time.
What I really realized is that we have a greater family, and it's our family of God. And it's, get emotional. Our family isn't nearby. And so for us, our church family is really important to us. And just people that have come and helped, and even friends that spiritually they're just searching, and they've come in and just said, you know, they want to be here for me, and they've really, their faith has grown, and their prayer life has grown. They've said, you know, I've never prayed so hard for Jim to be healed, or prayed for you to have strength.
Those are things that just touch you, you know, and make you realize that it's what you do for people, and it's how you touch people's lives is what's, you know, really important.
I believe God has been more apparent to me and real because my faith has been stretched, and I've had to trust, and I've had some really, you know, deep conversations and prayers with Him.
You just continue to rely on God's word, you know, and just being faithful for you. And it's like anything, whatever happens, you got to trust Him. It's for His glory, you know, and I don't know why it all happened. I'm beginning to see a lot of change in my own life.
I really believe God must just have His hand on me and giving me that strength and sustaining me, and to the point where I don't understand or I can't comprehend, but I believe that He brought me through it.
you know, I think I'm solid enough in my faith that I'd never doubt God as far as whatever happened. You know, I may not be excited about what's going on. You know, I may deal with hard emotional things, but I think I can rest assured that, you know, I've got a solid enough faith in God that no matter what happens, I still trust in Him and His wisdom. Like I said earlier, where else do you go? You know, He's our Creator.
The steadfast love of the Lord never ceases. His mercies are new every morning.